I don't think I've seen something this ironically yet aptly named since Chaos Walking. So about a week ago, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League released on all the new-gen platforms, and it has been very panned by critics and regular players alike. And yeah, it's pretty awful, but this is not going to be a review of the game. I might do that a little later if you guys want me to, if you want me to talk about the game in full. But I'm here to tell you that this was an even bigger disaster than people would have thought. Now, a lot of people, including myself, expected this game to suck. I never thought an idea of a Suicide Squad game was any good, especially since I don't really give a shit about the Suicide Squad, whether it's the comics or either of the films. I've seen both of the movies, and I don't really like either of them. But if the game is good, that's an entirely different thing, but it's obviously not. We've all seen the controversies. We saw it with Greta Thunberg looking Poison Ivy that I made a video on, about how this is kind of Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman, and how they completely take a shit on him. We saw the clip of them killing the Flash, and then Captain Boomerang literally pissing on his corpse, even though he saves them twice in the game, but again, I'll get to that in a review if you guys want me to make one. So, with all that controversy, and just how bad this game has been, how do you expect the player numbers to be? Well, it couldn't even crack half of the Avengers players. Yeah. Avengers was a game that was very hyped up and was supposed to be the big comic book video game of the decade at the very least, and it was a colossal failure. A lot of the player numbers dropped. A lot of the DLCs only came out on certain systems, so they weren't available to ones on PC or Xbox. I think the Spider-Man one was a PlayStation exclusive, so that much like the actual video game, so it didn't go to PC or Xbox. So a lot of the new stuff wasn't available on some of the platforms, and the player numbers just kind of dwindled. And they weren't even that high to begin with, as the game is still in the red for a game of that size. This game couldn't even crack half the player base. And that really shows, considering how few reviews there are on Steam. I mean, seriously, go look at the Steam reviews. There are not very many. And the player numbers are just pathetic. And especially how many people are playing this on Steam, or if you even look at Twitch, you realize how many people stream games. Now, I don't watch people on Twitch because I have better things to do with my life. But if you watch, there were a lot of people that streamed Avengers, or Spider-Man, or any of the other superhero games that came out. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if more people streamed Midnight Suns than this game. And don't get me wrong, Midnight Suns is a perfectly adequate game, but that's a freaking turn-based RPG, and if you can't be a turn-based RPG when you're this big-time AAA game, you might as well give up. Now, this is totally fucking deserved for several reasons. Like I said, all the controversy fucking with Arkham's Batman and basically giving a big fuck you to Kevin Conroy's Batman. And then then a lot of the other controversy that I mentioned with Poison Ivy and basically implying that Harley Quinn is still attracted to a fucking child, which I know it's Harley Quinn, but that's still disturbing. A lot of the shitty dialogue, a lot of the unfunny jokes. And then, worst of all, is Sweet Baby Inc. I've mentioned this before, and I think I mentioned it in the last video I did on this game. Sweet Baby Inc. is essentially a studio that makes games more woke. I wish I was making that up. But no, they really are. Their entire site is them just rewriting sections of games, or maybe rewriting games entirely to make them more inclusive and more susceptible to the masses, which again means more woke. They'll fuck with the dialogue and the cutscenes and the character writing. And they did the same thing with a lot of other shitty games, like Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, all of those woke games that came out. I didn't play God of War Ragnarok or Alan Wake because, no. But I sure as hell know how bad Spider-Man 2 turned out. So, yeah, that tells you all you need to know. Which tells me that a lot of the shit they did, especially Harley Quinn's big feminist rant right before she shoots Batman in the face, that was their fingerprints all over that. Or the fact that Wonder Woman is ironically the only female out of the Justice League, is the only one that isn't mind-controlled, and is the only one that gets a death that is not only mourned by the other characters for some goddamn reason, but she's the only one that gets a dignified death. Flash dies by bullets despite being the fastest man alive and then literally gets pissed on. Batman gets killed after a feminist rant by Harley Quinn. Fucking Superman gets taken out with bullets. And the Green Lantern, and I saw another review that was basically talking, for some reason, Deadshot hates Green Lantern for some reason. It's never explained why, don't get me wrong. Not what I meant, but you know what I mean. Where Deadshot hates Green Lantern for some fucking reason, and it made a joke about how it was promoting black-on-black crime, which is pretty funny. But, again, it's like, why? And, again, the shitty dialogue, just everything about this game was a failure. And even the gameplay, it's one of the most piss-weak easy games ever made. Like, this game is made for fucking I would say this game is made for toddlers, but the fact that it has an M rating is the only thing that proves otherwise. You make this even a rated T game, and I would be convinced that it was made for 5-year-olds to be able to play with how easy this game is. So, that's all I got for this. I'll make an entire review of this game if you guys want, but really I just needed something to talk about right now, and yeah, this seemed pretty accurate considering this game is flopping hard, and it is 100% deserved. So that's all I got, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.